Hello Huntsteaders. Here we are on a beautiful, finally sunny Southern California day out here in the garden. It is Saturday, April 11th, the day before Easter Sunday, and man, we've been getting killed out here with rain. We are in mid lockdown here in the Republic of California. And I just wanted to do a little post about how nice it is to have a garden to rely on while you're locked down. We got so much going on in the Huntstead garden right now. I've basically got my spring garden underway. Look at these roses. These things are coming out like crazy right now too. Look at these babies. Roses everywhere. Everywhere. These guys, got them all along the back of the garden. At any rate, one great thing about having a garden, besides all this good stuff to eat, is it gives you something to do when you're on lockdown. So I got a couple of tomatoes over here, a cucumber, another tomato, some carrots left, pepper, some beets left over. This is my tomato tree. I was inspired to get one of those after my trip down to Peru a couple years ago. My fig tree. Leaves and foliage are coming out great. This is my salad garden from the winter. And it's about done. You can see these babies are going to seed over here. These guys have gone to seed, but these green ones are still good. I got some spinach in the middle that we picked from quite a bit. Back here in the corner, that was my last couple of years. It's been my cornfield. But this season, I decided to go with a variety of different squash and zucchinis. So I have an Armenian cucumber back there, yellow squash here. I think that's a yellow zucchini back here. And then a regular zucchini up front, and I forget what this other guy is. Put them in about a week ago and they're doing pretty well. Here's my most recent planter. Look at the peppers on here already developing. Look at those guys. Look at the flowers. These are fava beans. I don't know if you ever had fava beans before. They are delicious, meaty, protein packed. Look at this tomato down in here. Look at this guy. It's already the size of a grenade in my hand. Just got to wait for it to turn color. It's called an orange tangerine. It's a relatively small plant considering some of the ones I have here, but it's going like crazy. I got these onions left over from the winter, and these carrots have just come up. I planted those by seed. This is kind of a mixture of the new and the old. Back here I got some peppers. These babies are starting to flower. Here's a tomato plant here. No plants on it yet, but lots of flowering. And this is my new horse trough planter. I got 3 tomato plants in there, some bush beans, some peppers. These guys right here are already producing a lot of peppers. It's called the rainbow bell pepper, Romanian rainbow. Already producing. Some more bush beans back here. And this guy is also kind of a transition. In the back here I got some purple bush beans. I still get some lettuce left over that we're using quite a bit of for salads. And then some peppers in the middle. I got some, these are really spring onions, green onions, left over from the winter. And then this perpetual spinach, which is great. I feed it to the chickens. We use it in our salads. That stuff's fantastic. Down here, look at these guys. I think these are leeks. Yep, Bulgarian giant leeks with an artichoke. And they seem to like that barrel. Look at this tomato plant right here. That thing is unbelievable. It's a yellow pear tomato. It's already like 4 feet tall. Oh my gosh, look what we got here. There she is. Look at that. Little ladybug on there, taking care of insects, doing God's work. Gotta love that. No fruit on this baby yet. And then up here, my original veg truck, 6 years old and strong. I got these, I forget what these things are called. But they're kind of a peppery leaf. We use them in salads, and we eat the flowers. Plus, they attract bees like crazy. We just harvested some celery that we're going to use. This is Huntstead. is making some vegetable soup tonight. This spinach I use quite a bit. This spinach down here, you can see I harvest that thing. As soon as they grow, I pull them off. This spinach here is really doing well. I use this thing a lot too. Pull those leaves off and put them in my salads. And I have some new peppers back here. And right here is my eggplant left over from last year. I got a lot of small bulbs on them. They're Japanese eggplants, so they should get about 6 inches, 8 inches long. We had some good ones last year. We'll see if it takes. If it doesn't, I'll trade it out for something else. Got a bush patio tomato here, and I just got these little Mexican cucumbers. I'm going to trellis them up this thing. They're fantastic, and they grow like crazy. They're like little grape-sized cucumbers. And that's just a red Italian pepper. There's my sun gold tomato. I cut that thing back a couple of weeks ago. Look at this thing. It's already got fruit popping out all over it. This thing is left over from last year. Look, these guys right here. These are the most prolific. If you got one tomato in your garden, you get these sun gold cherry tomatoes, you will never be disappointed because they just keep on producing. Back here I got myself a little raspberry bush. It flowered like crazy, and you can see the raspberries on the top here starting to grow all over it. So excited about that. Here's one of my other tomatoes left over from last year. I got some fruit on it. I haven't been too crazy about the taste of these things or the size of them or anything yet. We got some, we'll see. I might change that bucket out. And then look here in the back, look at these roses. Look at these guys, how pretty they are. They're everywhere. There's little pink guys here. Look at this yellow rose down here. These are kind of a yellow, orangish type rose. Look at that guy. He's loaded. There's a ton of them on here. And then, let's not forget the orchard. Man, I don't know if we can catch the coronavirus, knock on wood, with all the citrus we've been taking in. We've been vitamin C'ing up at least 3 times a day. We got tangerines over here. The tree is loaded with them. Right next to them is grapefruit, loaded. My lemons are this is a late blooming lemon tree. You can still see some green ones up there, like that guy. And then we've got some yellow ones like that guy. We've been picking them, using them for cooking and so forth already this year. This orange tree has been fantastic this year. I mean, I got oranges still all over it. We've been picking them since January. And this is just one of 2 orange trees. My apples on my front apple tree are starting to come in. Look at these bunches. They'll be ready here in just a couple of weeks. In fact, that guy right there is almost ready, this guy in the back. These are little, kind of crispy apples, and this tree gets loaded full of them. And right here, my apricot tree. And I've got little apricots all over this thing. It's not nearly the yield it was last year. Not nearly. I don't know if it was not cold enough or what. But there's plenty on there. We'll get plenty of fruit on it. So they got about another month maybe before they're ready. But they're definitely set. And then here, over here by the ladies. Hey ladies. Hey ladies. Who have been producing like crazy. I still have my Turkish eggplant. Look at that look at that. Just a big batch of fruit on here. We've been eating these things pretty regularly. You can't keep up with it. And here's my other orange tree. That's what I wanted to show you. This thing is loaded still with fruit on the backside here. These things are so sweet. Got a few weeks left to chow on those. Here's one of my recently planted avocado trees. This guy's a Forte. It's about, I don't know, 5 feet tall. All the growth on it is fantastic. Brand new growth. I topped it this year. I want to make it bushy and not super tall. And it looks like it's doing what we want it to do. And back here, I just did some trimming of the bushes today. We got this raspberry bush back here. New raspberries coming up. There's another look at some of the apricots this year. Back here in the back of the tree. Look at that. Pretty good sized clump loaded with apricots. So we're going to get some. Not as many as we had last year. But apricots are crazy because they all come at once. You can barely keep up with them. Here's my little lime tree too. These guys have been great this year. I got 2 of them. One here and one over here. Between the 2 of these babies, we managed to keep enough limes. Look at that. Going back here, I've harvested. Oh, that guy was ready. Boom, ready to go. Use that for cooking this week. Go back here into the back of the orchard. My yellow long-necked fig right here. There's my neighbor Jim. Hey Jim.
Hey.
Cutting some trees?
Yeah. Are you recording?
I'm recording, yeah. And then right here is a bacon avocado, and it's flowering like crazy. I put it in this wine barrel, and it seems to like it. So we'll see. I might just knock the wine barrel away when it's mature. Right now, everything looks really good on that. I've got a problem back here with my peach tree. We've got some type of fungus or disease I gotta look at. There are a couple of fruits on it, but I don't know. We might have to forego fruit this year and figure out how to fix that thing. But you can see there's a few peaches on it. Here's my other apple tree in the back. This thing's usually a few weeks behind the front tree, and you can see they're all just green, small apples right now. But there are a billion of them on there. This is more of a crispy apple back here, a little bit larger, a little whiter flesh, a little more crispy. And the one up front here has more of a yellow flesh and a little softer, a little sweeter. And there's a good look at my tangerines from underneath. Gosh, these things are fantastic. We're going to have grapefruits for months. I mean, I try to eat 2 a day with breakfast, juice them up, but it's hard to keep up with these. Continuing along the back, here's my favorite tree. I did a whole video on this last year, over the course of the year. It's a honey jar jujube tree. Every year this thing goes down to a Charlie Brown stick. I showed that in the video last year. And then it grows new branches every year. These were from last year. You can see the new ones growing up, and it fruits. And I don't know, it's the darndest tree. But I love that fruit. You can watch that video to see what they look like and how that thing grows over the year. Got blueberries in here. This is Huntstead just rated it. You can tell the size of these babies. They're pretty good size. Look at them. Just bunches of them. There's nothing ripe on it right now. I got a little golden raspberry here. I'm experimenting with raspberries this year. So we'll see. This one's a couple weeks behind the one we had in the back. So golden raspberry. I'm hoping it grows well. Here's another blueberry. This one didn't do that well this year, but it's got, it's got some bunches on here. We'll get a few blueberries off it. That's the back planter. And here's where we start with the herbs and strawberries. Well, I actually have a couple of strawberries on the bat cave back here. So pink flowers on this guy, white flowers on this guy. These guys are later in the summer fruiters. I got some decorative rose plants down here. Then over here we've got some strawberries. Look at these pink and yellow flowers here. Some white flowers over there. Got some little fruits developing on that guy. I just planted some parsley. We got another little bushelberry blueberry bush here. It's flowering. It must be later in the year. We'll see how that thing does. Here's another. What's this? A Tuscana strawberries. Cilantro. We can't keep it enough of that. We eat cilantro like crazy. Some more here. I just planted 2 of them today. And we've just got our new windows in our pad. And we decided to make this area an herb garden. It was just kind of confined over to here. You can see I've got some chives back here we use like crazy. You can always cut from them. Got some parsley growing down here. Some, what do you call this stuff? What's the word I'm looking for? Sage. Got some mint over here, lemon mint or lemon balm. I just planted some basil down here. And then here's our normal rose garden. These tomatoes, or these strawberries are already producing like crazy. This guy is the same one that's over here on the bench. And they're flowering up but haven't produced yet. But these other 2 are like 3 years old. This guy and this guy, and they produce every year. Then we've got our thyme, rosemary. This poor little parsley, I've been wearing that thing out. I got a new one over here that I just planted, and we have this guy back here down the bottom. So this is where the herbs are on the Huntstead. Back on the back side, look at the kumquats on this baby. Look at these guys. I'm gonna grab that guy right there. I need it right now. That thing is fantastic. This thing's loaded up. Kumquats are sweet and sour of the citrus world. You pop them in your mouth whole, and it's sour, and then you eventually get it to the sweet part. Here's the other one over here. This one's behind. There's a few ripe ones on it, but it hasn't produced as much as that other one, and there aren't as many on there, but they're good. They're not my favorite. My favorite's the one over here by the palm tree. It's called the Mewa. I did a video on those earlier. They're rounder and sweeter. Even though they are tart in the beginning, they're not as tart as these Nagamis. Back here's my passion fruit. Look at that. Right on schedule. So this is the weirdest fruit. This thing fruits late, or flowers in late winter, and then in the spring we get these. And they're starting to, we've got a whole bunch of them in the kitchen right now, but there's still a bunch of them on here. There's one down, a couple of them down here. They're fantastic. And then, after these drop, this thing's going to flower again. In late summer, we're going to get another whole crop of them, and they're fantastic. We use them in smoothies or just on top of a fruit bowl. They're great. Passion fruits. I love them. And then here's my pineapple guava tree, also back behind the pool. Got a ton of fresh growth on it. We got some flowers and about 3 fruits on it last year. They weren't that good. They were small. So this is the 3rd year I've had it in the pot. We're hoping we're going to get some better production out of it this year. Pineapple guava. I've got a banana tree over here. I don't have a lot of hope for this one because it doesn't have a lot of, it's growing like crazy and it's throwing out pups. But I don't think this thing's going to fruit in that container. I just don't think it hasn't get enough nutrients. But I do have a couple of them over here. Look at that. These things are growing like crazy. I am fertilizing these guys a lot more than I did last year in the hopes that they'll fruit. I used to have them back there where the squash is and where I used to grow my corn, but I think it just got too much sun and they never fruited in 3 years. So I took some pups and moved them back here. They're really doing well over here outside the Kaczynski cabin. And I'm just hoping we can get one to fruit. I got one to fruit last year late, but it died because it was too late in the year. Then I got these two little mulberry bushes down here. They were just little guys when I got them. I got them in the mail. So I wanted a bush, not a tree. So they've got all fresh growth on them this year. They were about a foot high. As you can see, I cut them back too. And they're doing really well. Mulberries. Can't wait to have some of those. We do have a mulberry bush. My neighbor, on the back of the property, you can see him right here. Let me sneak in. You see this tree right here? You can see the mulberries. That's a little stack of them right there and right there and right there. So that tree is a mulberry tree. I might be able to sneak one or two off of it when they ripen up. But I'll really look forward to the ones that come up right here outside the cabin. And then up front, I've got a couple more blueberries. This guy has been growing like crazy. It was flowering like crazy a couple weeks ago, and I got fruit all over it right now. All over it. Nothing's ripe yet. And this thing is called a pink lemonade. And you can see it has set fruit. Not a lot of them, but it has set fruit. Various places on it. Back here. And they're supposed to be, taste like a little lemonade blueberry. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out. And then this guy, we're trying to train it on the wall, is a pomegranate tree. Trying to keep it like a bush. Maybe grow it up here and cover this wall a little bit and hopefully get some pomegranates. This is year number 3. I think it's going into season 3. And I hope we can get some fruit on it maybe next year. I doubt we'll get some this year, but you never know. Knock on wood. So this year, hey Nellie, my neighbor Nellie. Good. She's got a great garden over there too. So this year we decided to expand the edibility of the landscape and move out here into the front yard. So I got some things going on out here, the center of which is this golden nugget loquat tree. So I had a loquat in the backyard that just never took. We got this guy. It looks like it's doing great here. It's got good growth. And these things are prolific fruiters. So I'm hoping, probably not this year, but maybe next year we can get some fruit on this thing. And then for years to come. Down here I've got this wild blackberry bush. And these things are trailing blackberries. They're thornless, pretty much thornless. I mean, there are some thorns on there, but they're little. But this thing should flop over and just grow all over the ground here. And then we've got California wild grape here. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to get enough sun, although it is. I am getting some new growth over the top of it. But our goal is here, grow this thing along the wall and get some grapes up here. So that's what's going on in the front of the Huntstead. So that's it, Huntsteaders. That's how I'm staying busy during the COVID-19 outbreak. Expanding my garden and just staying out here making good edible food. I don't have to worry about picking up at the grocery store and worrying about who touched it or who might have coughed on it. Just come out right out here into God's bountiful garden, pick what I need, and we use it every day. And gardening is contagious, you know, it spreads. I mean, I started with just a little garden back here, and now I've got it extended to all the borders of my property. But it's a great hobby, it's healthy, keeps you outside the house. You met my neighbor Jim. He's got amazing fruit trees on his property. And then my neighbor Nellie on the other side, she's got a whole lot of fruit trees and a great vegetable garden. And that's how we're keeping ourselves occupied here while we're in lockdown. Hope everybody's safe, healthy, and remain so. And until then, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.